The idea of fitting a Quran in a spare tire came to me when I was browsing an online forum about Islam and cars. I saw a post by someone who claimed that they had hidden a Quran in their spare tire to avoid detection by the authorities in a country where Islam was banned. I was intrigued by this claim and wondered if it was possible to do so. I decided to try it out myself and see if I could fit a Quran in a spare tire without damaging the book or the tire. I went to a local bookstore and bought a copy of the Quran. I chose a small and thin edition that looked like it could fit in a spare tire. I also went to a car shop and bought a spare tire that matched the size of my car's tires. I brought both items home and prepared to do the experiment. I removed the spare tire from my car and placed it on the floor. I opened the tire valve and let out some air to make the tire softer. I then took the Quran and tried to insert it into the gap between the tire and the rim. It was not easy, but after some pushing and twisting, I managed to squeeze the book inside the tire. I made sure that the book was not visible from the outside and that it did not interfere with the tire's rotation. I then pumped some air back into the tire and put it back in my car. I was amazed that I had succeeded in fitting a Quran in a spare tire. I wondered what other things I could fit in there. I also wondered what would happen if someone found out about my experiment. Would they be impressed or offended? Would they think that I was disrespecting the holy book or protecting it? Would they report me to the authorities or praise me for my creativity? These were some of the questions that ran through my mind as I drove around with a Quran in my spare tire. In this video, I will show you how I did it and what happened next. Stay tuned for more surprising discoveries. The steps I followed to fit the Quran in the spare tire are quite simple, but they require some patience and precision. Here is what I did. First, I removed the spare tire from the trunk of my car and placed it on a flat surface. Next, I used a sharp knife to cut a circular hole in the center of the tire, about the same size as the Quran. I made sure to cut through both sides of the tire, so that I could create a hollow space inside. Then, I took the Quran and wrapped it in a plastic bag to protect it from dirt and moisture. I also added some silica gel packets to absorb any humidity inside the bag. After that, I inserted the Quran into the hole I made in the tire, and pushed it until it fit snugly. I used some duct tape to seal the edges of the hole and prevent any air from escaping. Finally, I put the tire back in the trunk of my car and secured it with a bolt. And that's how I fit the Quran in the spare tire. The tools and materials I used for this project were a spare tire, a sharp knife, a plastic bag, silica gel packets, duct tape, a bolt. The challenges I faced while doing this were finding a spare tire that was big enough to fit the Quran, cutting through the rubber without damaging the Quran or hurting myself, making sure the Quran was well protected from any external factors, hiding the hole in the tire so that it looked normal. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more surprising discoveries. The surprising discovery I made after fitting the Quran in the spare tire and how it changed my perspective on religion and spirituality. You might be wondering why I decided to fit a Quran in a spare tire in the first place. Well, it all started as a joke. I was bored one day and I saw a video online of someone fitting a Bible in a spare tire. I thought it was funny and I wanted to try it with a different holy book. So I went to a bookstore and bought a Quran. Then I went to a garage and asked them to fit it in a spare tire for me. They looked at me weirdly, but they agreed to do it for a small fee. I took the spare tire with the Quran inside and put it in the trunk of my car. I didn't think much of it until one day I had a flat tire on the highway. I pulled over and opened the trunk to get the spare tire. As I lifted it out, I noticed something strange. The tire felt lighter than before. I looked at it closely and saw that the Quran was gone. There was only an empty space where it used to be. I was shocked and confused. Where did the Quran go? How did it disappear from inside the tire? Did someone steal it? Did it fall out somehow? Did it dissolve or evaporate? I had no clue what happened. I felt a mix of emotions: curiosity, fear, guilt, awe. I decided to investigate further. I took the tire to the garage where they fitted the Koran in. I asked them if they knew what happened to it. They said they had no idea. They said they never opened the tire after they put the Koran in. They said they never saw anything like this before. I was baffled and intrigued. I wanted to find out more about this mystery. I started to research online about the Quran and its history, teachings, and miracles. I learned that the Quran is considered by Muslims to be the word of God revealed to Prophet Muhammad through the angel Gabriel. I learned that the Quran contains many scientific facts that were unknown at the time of its revelation, such as the expansion of the universe, the formation of embryos, and the water cycle. I learned that the Quran has many mathematical patterns and codes that prove its divine origin, such as the number 19, which is mentioned in many verses and chapters. I was amazed and impressed by what I discovered. The more I read about the Quran, the more I felt drawn to it. I wondered if its disappearance from inside the tire was a sign from God for me to seek His guidance and mercy. I wondered if He wanted me to embrace Islam as my religion and way of life. I decided to take a leap of faith and follow my intuition. I contacted a local mosque and asked them how to become a Muslim. They welcomed me warmly and explained to me the basics of Islam and its pillars: belief in one God, prayer, charity, fasting, and pilgrimage.